live and in color. We have a new task from Miss Mac. We got to come up with our own song, own lyrics. Are we gonna sound like Cordic Blow, or we gonna sound like Slum Village? We're gonna sound like what's gonna be our? We're gonna be Neo Soul slash what's gonna be our? We gonna be like Black Moon, or we gonna be like Chuck D? Yes. 1585
the
show.
Rhythm, the rebel, without a pause, level.
You know, that's my intro, my show. I'm you know, I got a right to be hostile, man.
Enema.
My people have been persecuted. Yeah, my stream quality might be lower because the internet connection is not fast. Oh Lord, they won't let me be great.
You live in that public enema.
Public enema. Rodney Rogers in the house. Rodney Rogers got that.
You say Rodney Rogers?
Rodney Rogers saucier. Rodney ain't French. You get a name like Saucier from Long Beach and went to Howard. That's some old W.E.B. Du Bois type of mess right there. Your name is Rogers. Rodney Rogers. I got my man B Live in the house. Go Chargers. Super Bowl next year. Well, they do have Khalil Mack. Bolt up. They do have Khalil Mack, so this could be it. This could be the year. I am going to pick the Clippers to win the championship. I'm putting $20 on the Clippers tomorrow and see if that $20 holds tough in Vegas until next year. The return of Kawhi Leonard.
The Clippers track record. That's not going to be a good return, but
$20.
You're going to be losing $20.
$20 on a what? 101 odds? That'd be what? $2,000 on $20. I'll do that. I'll do that. Oh Lord. My chat group is getting real, y'all. We are talking about our next topic. Do our privileged kids have the same hunger we had? And is it necessary? When we see the likes of our tonight's topic, Chef Curry, who had everything he needed in life and he still became very good at what he does. Is the need...
Do you think it's because his dad was that good?
His dad wasn't that good. His dad played, what, 6 years? His dad was good. But he was never in anyone's conversation as great. He was always a good shooter. Really good shooter. But he was around when Craig Hodges and them were the best shooters, right? So he never got that accolade as best shooter. He might have won the three-point contest once, did he?
I'm not for sure.
Yeah, but it's just having that privilege. Our privileged kids like Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, best shooters possibly ever, and they had everything they needed in life. Stevie Francis and who else? Who came from the bricks? Had a different approach to the game. That's a good topic for one day. Tonight's show, man. 1585. We'll get into these NBA finals. Talking about Chef Curry and how good is the chef, man. We're gonna have a first-time new game. Greater than, less than. Jimmy Mack has 10. I have 10. You guys chime in. Better than, less than. Chef Curry, better than, less than. Then we're going to go to see how should we judge athletes? And this goes across the board. Should we go by, we gotta somehow get rid of this recency bias. Like right now, Chef Curry's the best player in the world. Dude, he's still 6'2". He's still 175 pounds. So we got to keep that in mind.
6'2", 185. 6'2", 185.
And he better than 6'7", 250 coming down the hall. So how should we judge our athletes as far as who's better? Skills, ability, body of work, all those things play one in together, or is it certain things we should judge athletes by? And that goes for football, soccer, baseball, whatever. They keep saying Mike Trout's the best player in baseball. I beg to differ.
Bless you, honey.
NFL mini camps. I saw an OTA fine. I'm going to talk a little bit about some memories of minicamp and is it necessary? All right, you're Lamar Jackson. You're on the last year of your contract. Do you gamble on yourself or do you find a way? Because he don't have an agent. He don't have an agent. So we'll talk about Lamar Jackson. And last but not least, Father's Day is Sunday. Best and worst. Father's Day gifts you receive. It's the 1585 show. That's Mac. I'm AC. Let's go to the intro. Yo. Yeah, I said Clippers be live. I said the Clippers. $2 bet. Clippers.
$2 bet.
B. Henry said the finals.
As a matter of fact, Mike Staff owed me $2.
He said the finals were trash. Mike Staff owed us bust $2. He said that the Warriors would not win another game. He said it with his chest too. The Warriors are finished. They won't win another game. Look how that turned out. Already jumping in, B. Live said based it on talent and accomplishments. We're going to get into it in character. We'll get into it. Yep. Coach Ife in the house. What up, big coach? Master bartender extraordinaire, Curtis Ife. All right, man. So the NBA Finals, was it all you dreamed it would be? We have a champion. You called it, didn't you?
Yep. I said Golden State in 6. I had the order of the first 4 games wrong, but it still turned out Golden State in 6, winning the last 2 games. Not a very eye-pleasing final. I've seen a lot of bad basketball being played, and I guess that's a new way of playing basketball. I posted earlier, neither team had a 2-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio. And then you go to the 87 Lakers with Magic Johnson as a point guard. The Lakers had a 4-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio. These teams turned the ball over like it was Friday night on Fig. That's how much they turned the ball over. A lot of turnover. So it was just bad basketball, man. A 3-point shooting contest. We talked about it. One game, they combined to miss 51 threes. That's crazy. That is crazy. Not a very good finals. You kind of figure Golden State will win. The only big disappointment I had in the finals was Jayson Tatum's performance. It's sad to see an up-and-coming star go through these type of struggles, because that can be something that can carry with him in the long term. People talk about Steph Curry struggling in the finals, a guy who averaged 26 points per game in his whole finals career up until this point. He didn't struggle like this. I mean, yeah, he didn't make timely shots and he didn't come through clutch a lot, but Jayson Tatum shot 36% from the field. He actually shot 45% from 3, which is crazy, but he missed a lot of layups. He missed a lot of mid-range jumpers. He had maybe 2 dunks the whole series. A guy who's 6'8", I want to say, right? He's 6'8", 6'9".
They said he's 6'10". He now towers over Jaylen Brown.
Oh, 6'10".
He grew, yeah.
He only had 2 dunks the whole finals, I think. I only remember him dunking twice. So that's absolutely crazy that a guy that big, that tall, with the ability that he has, struggled getting to the basket against a team that had no rim protector, no real good inside presence on defense. He was out-rebounded by a smaller guy in Wiggins, which I'm proud that Wiggins had a great finals. Remember our debate when we first started the show? Wiggins or
I was wrong. Ben Simmons. I was wrong. Don't bring up old stuff.
So this was one of the worst finals. The only other finals I could see that was this bad was Detroit, San Antonio. That was a not a good eye-pleasing final either. So this finals wasn't that great. But hey, congratulations to the Warriors. A part of me is happy that Curry got a Finals MVP finally, so people can get off his neck. But another part of me, I just don't like the way he plays the game. So maybe I'm old school. Congratulations, man.
Get off my lawn, McElroy. My brother said I'm a Lakers fan, but I'm a Steph Curry fan too. And can you be both? Most Lakers fans was pulling for the Warriors so they wouldn't get number 19, right? Or was it 18? Are we stuck at 18?
Number 18.
18 for Lakers fans.
Celtics get 18.
Now you say he plays a brand of ball that you don't necessarily like, outside in and shooting bad shots. I mean, shoot, it is long distance from half court. He's open. He's shooting that thing if you don't get up on him. I can't say I don't like this way of playing, this style of game. This is just what it is. I appreciate the bigs of the old 1980s and 90s and still throwing it inside, throwing it back outside when guys are open. But this is just what it is, man. With the style of playing being you can't touch anybody. You can if you're slick and if you have a way of playing D and you get the respect of the officials early on. I think it is what it is. I think you're one of those who like to get on the refs and but when you coach, you already have a problem with the refs. I've already given up on refs. Sorry, Rodney Sox. I've given up on refs many, many years ago. We're not going to get no help. And now I've given up on big man having this be in the post. I just gave up because this is today's game, and we can say it's bad basketball. If you're in 1975 looking in the future and say, you know what, in 25, 35, 40 years, they're going to be doing this. When we were taught, you go for the layup. We just saw someone kick it out. I was playing pickup ball Wednesday night. Guy got a fast break. Me and Mike Holbrook and them guys. Fast break. Ran to the key with the ball by himself. Kicked it back out for his homeboy to shoot the three. And he made it. Terrible basketball. But he made it. It was 2 points instead of 1. And that might have been the 1 point they needed to win the game. So yeah, it's Steph Curry's fault, analytics' fault, Dame Lillard's fault, Paul George's fault. All these guys hitting these shots that get the ESPN play of the game. All this stuff we get to see James Harden doing double step back traveling threes. That's what our kids see. That's what our kids want to do. And you don't have to be tall. You could be 6'2", 175 pounds like Steph Curry and be in the debate for best player when he is $150 when he got in the league. And now he's being bumped. Like you said, is he now better because of one championship when Andrew Wiggins played his butt off and locked up Jayson Tatum for the most part? I agree with you. He didn't get much better. He was always this good. But now that he has another chip, does that make him better? And that's kind of where we're like, well, how did he get that much better by... What if the Celtics would have won? What if the Celtics would have come back and won these 2 games? Is Steph Curry not as good as he was? He was still very good. So
Exactly.
But you say it was not a good series. I actually was entertained at the prospect of the C's maybe playing better. Oh, we got Mike Staff in the house. Mike Staff told us the Celtics are clearly a better team. And he had to retract his comments because we saw the best team. And that's a mental thing. I ain't talking about physically on paper. The Celtics had a bigger, deeper team. They had centers guarding Steph Curry. And I was like, I get what they're doing, but it doesn't really work if Steph Curry's willing to go to the basket. After a while, you got to put your best defensive player, Marcus Smart, defensive player of the year. Why is he not guarding Steph Curry? Yeah, that man, he flowered my
because
man.
he flops too much.
He flops too much. Yeah.
Flops too much. I never seen. They all flop. They got a foul on Marcus Smart where he was trying to get by Curry. Curry latches onto him and falls to the ground. The refs, it's like, are the refs that dumb? Like, he flopped that. There's no way. Marcus Smart was going like maybe 2 miles per hour. And he bumps into Curry and Curry falls and they call the offense. I was like, are you serious? It's crazy.
They're giving out Oscars and stuff. They're giving out Emmys. If you act well, you can get them calls. If you're defensive player of the year, you might get that call. But when he didn't get that call on Clay that day, that was it's a wrap. You don't get that call and you're the defensive player of the year, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Defensive player of the year is trash.
Hey, let me say this real fast. Let me say this real fast, AC. I used to downplay Shaq's importance to the league and his influence on the league. You got to remember, the league implemented zone defenses to stop Shaq. He played this soft zone. And now it's coming to haunt us because now the best way to beat a zone defense is to shoot over the top of a zone defense. And now everybody wants to shoot over the top of the zone defense. And the best team that's doing that is the Warriors. Even though they only shot 36% from 3 in the finals, it works for them. It works. And how they hit their threes, the dagger threes. So it's Shaqs Impact. I still don't think he's that dominant of a player, like everybody keeps saying, but his impact on the game is being felt
today because of the ability to have to play zone.
Well, I believe that's what drove Giannis to get better at his free throws. He knew the hack of Shaq was coming. It's part of the game. These guys have had impacts on the game. Shout out to my boy Swillian Lansky, my OG from Long Beach. Said, give that man his flowers. Hey, man, we're going to talk about Steph, how good he is in a few minutes. Righty Saw said he got the big fella guarding Steph because they switch everything. There was a time where I called off switches. And I guess you can't do that on Steph because if you go underneath, he shoots a bomb. You go over top, he goes by you. I think you got to take a chance. I don't know. It wasn't working. The man was going.
Take a chance. You rather him make twos and threes because he's not really trying to make twos.
Yeah.
More trying to
keep him from getting them threes.
So make him beat you with a bunch of twos.
Yeah. Mike said the referee.
Make him beat you with a bunch of twos.
Leon Lansky said, give the coach his flowers. Now, Ime Udoka was coaching his tail off the first 3 series, and then these last couple games, Mike's staff called him and said, yo, this is the adjustment. He didn't follow directions. He didn't make the adjustment. I told Mike he didn't take his phone call. He didn't make the adjustment. And Jayson Tatum was being swallowed up by Andrew Wiggins. So did Steve Kerr out-coach Ime Udoka? Or was it just the team chemistry that the Warriors have in this situation that was just way too much for a first-time finals team like the Celtics?
I think Ime overcoached himself. What they were doing for the first 4 games was really working. And then he made that adjustment those last 2 games and was like, I'm gonna take the ball out of Curry's hand. And then he got killed by everybody else. But he was doing early work. Yes, it was 2-2. Have a monster game to win game 4. That's what you want. You want to force the star player to have monster games to beat you. Because if you let everybody else beat you, then your players are so focused on one player that everybody else is going to get you. Like Draymond was having a horrible series up until the last 2 games. That's what you want. You don't want Draymond to get into the game. He's their actual emotional leader. They're leader of that team. So once he gets going, everybody else is going to feed off that energy. Golden State was kind of flat for those first 4 games. And then in that fourth quarter of game 4, that's when everything took off. Because Golden State proved they can beat you with Curry not scoring in that game 5. So you should have just went back to your original strategy. And I mean, I wouldn't say he got out. I think he overthought it. And it came back to bite him. I mean, when it's 2-2 and your strategy's working, 2-2. So once he made that switch to just, we're going to get the ball at Curry's hand, that's where they lost it.
What happened? I'm with Swellion on this one, man. What happened to Tatum? He just destroyed KD. He destroyed Giannis. I'm not going to say that he destroyed him himself, but he just went up against some monsters in the Eastern Conference. And he gets to the Western Conference champion Golden State Warriors, and he's a no-show. Are we underplaying the brilliance of Andrew Wiggins and the team defense of the Warriors, or was Tatum Mr. Gold 30? The moment was too big and he pissed down his leg. Is it the moment?
I think it's storyline. So I don't know if it's the moment. I think it's storylines. I mean, because you got to think about Tatum in those first 3 rounds. His matchup was the best player on the other team. His matchup was Durant. His matchup was Giannis. His matchup was Jimmy Bucket. Those are his matchups. Curry's not his matchup. So I think he felt that I have Andrew Wiggins, a lesser player. I mean, I'm going to go at him, maybe, which he really wasn't. Or he tried. He just shot bad. And Wiggins played very well. But I think he didn't take it personal. You know, Michael Jordan gave the greatest punchline ever in a documentary. I took it personal. I took it personal.
He said hello to me.
You got to take these things personal.
Hey, have a good game,
You
Mike.
got to take them personally because your legacy is up for grabs.
The moment was too big. Mr. Davis, the moment was too big and pissed down your leg. You're not really an athlete. So I think the future's still very bright for Tatum. He gonna have to live with this one, man. This is, is this bad as Kobe's 4 bricks? This is a learning opportunity. He's 24 years old. He'll be all right. He gonna have to live with this one though.
I mean, even though he's a Kobe disciple, if you look at Kobe's 2004 finals against Detroit, him and Tatum basically played the same type of game. It looked similar. and he'll learn from it. I hope he learns from it. He's a good player. If he really wants to be a Mamba disciple, he's going to have to turn it up. One thing about Kobe, he can have a bad series. He can have a bad game. He's going to come back for you. He's going to remember that, and he's coming back for you. So Tatum's going to have to remember this, and he's going to come back for it. Most definitely. Well, he works hard. You know he's in the gym, but it's just going to be more of a mental build. I don't know if he's as mentally tough as Kobe is, but we'll see. Time will tell. Time will tell.
He's a very mature young guy. I like the way he talks. I like the way he immediately has an answer for questions. He talks with his chest up, and he not, backing down from responsibility. I think he'll be fine. It is just very shocking. Everyone's saying he's burnt out and tired. At that age, you don't get tired. I believe the moment was way too big and he overdid it. It's like kickoff versus the team you really want to play against. You are super geeked up for the kickoff, and then you burn out the first quarter because you are overexcited. The moment is way too big. Luckily in football, you got 3 more quarters and you can get into a groove, whereas basketball, if you look up, you'd be down by 25, 30 points and you got 10 points and you're being locked up. I kind of remember this happening to Steph the first time they played the Cavs, and him being locked up by what's the little white guy's name that was guarding Steph?
Oh man, Dellavedova.
Matthew Dellavedova was doing like Wiggins was doing to Tatum. It wasn't that Curry wasn't trying, and it wasn't that he was tired. He was just trying to force it, and that happens. And now look at him. He's going to the cup. He ain't trying to jack up a 3 if they're not going to give it to him. And he's making plays, and then before you know it, the whole team is vibing off of him. Which leads us to our topic of Curry greater than, less than. New game alert. All right, so we're hearing all the talk about Mount Rushmores and top 10 NBA all-time, 75 all-time lists, who comes off. The 75 list was being debated about Dwight Howard should be bumping off Bill Walton, should be bumping off a couple of guys that's in there. Well, Steph Curry's been in major conversations about top 10 all time. Not just pound for pound, but all time, period. So Jimmy Mack brought it to me. Think about it, man. Your 10 players that you think could be, maybe not equal to Steph Curry is either better than or not better than, and they've been superstars in the league for many, many years. And then some of the current players that you see playing against his contemporaries right now, are they better than? So we're going to go one at a time. We got 10 apiece, and y'all can chime in. Is Curry better than? And now
here we go. I'm going to give you this. Bob's list is better than mine because we had the same list at first, so I had to find 10 new players.
So you go. How do you? I think we need to kind of determine though what's better mean. Who's better?
Yeah,
and it kind of ties into the next topic of how do you grade and judge. So for basketball players, what do you look at when you want to determine someone better than the next person?
Oh, man, that's a tough question because to me it's team sports, and I'll say this: even though I will get in debates on who's the greatest, I never believe that there's a GOAT of team sports. Team sports is all about chemistry, timing, as you said, sometimes just luck, plain dumb luck that can get your team a title. But the chips, as you say, the chips fail perfectly for you. But when I'm looking at with basketball players, I look at your overall work as a individual player, not as what the team has done and accomplished. I look at what you have done in those moments as an individual. I think Curry's great. I don't categorize him as a point guard. So let's just get that out there right now. I don't think he plays more of a shooting guard. I don't think he's a point guard. He's kind of like Iverson. Iverson really wasn't a point guard. He was a shooter. He was a shooting guard. He was a scorer. He wasn't trying to really facilitate for his teammates. So when I think of actual point guards, per se, I look at a guy who's setting the table. He can get his own, but he sets the table more often than not than anybody else. And then I look at points per stat. What are your stats producing for the team as point-wise? I mean, you can have a guy who can go for 30, but he has 2 assists. At the most, he's given maybe 36 points per game for your team. Then you have a guy who goes for 20, but he's giving out 12 assists.
At the most, he can give you anywhere between 35 and 40 something points a night based off of the shots that are being made by his teammates. So I like to do that when it comes to point guards and the guards. As for a big man, it's a whole different type of category and stat, because I believe big men should dominate 3 categories: scoring, rebounding, and blocks. That's the impact as a big man. So it's everybody's what your cup of tea is. I just know what my cup of tea is.
All right.
And I'm a paint player.
So we're not going to do who would you draft, because you would ultimately get the big dudes, because it's so hard to find quality big men in a big man sport, unless you have a special individual like AI, who just obviously was the best player in America that 1 year. But now looking back at everybody's body of work, everybody's career, we can look back and redraft these guys, but you're going to just go with those stat lines you just gave and run down this list. Is Curry better than? So let's play. Who you got first?
For mine, because like I said, your list is way better than mine. But I'm gonna go with the master of handles, because people always talk about how Curry had great handles. Tim Hardaway. Remember the killer crossover for Tim Hardaway? Hardaway career numbers, remember he blew his knee out early in his career. He still rebounded to make some All-Star games. 17.7 points per game, 8.2 assists per game, compared to Curry's 24.3 and 6.3. In his best season, 23 points, 10 assists a game. So Tim Hardaway and Curry, based off being a pure point guard, Tim Hardaway. As a player, as far as getting the ball into the basket, Curry. Even though Hardaway would have great scoring games at times as a player, especially in his run TNC days. I think Curry might have a small edge over Hardaway. Even though in a pure point guard to run my team, I'll take Hardaway. If I need somebody to score and put the ball in the basket, I'm going with Curry. So, who you got?
So if you want to do it like that, you want to just do combo guards? Because it's going to be very hard, because Curry's not a point guard. He's not bringing it up looking to distribute. He's looking to cut up the defense and find his spot, and if his spot's not there, then he'll pass it. It's just a different day with positionless basketball, so it's very hard to put, but I get what you're saying, because Hardaway could score it. So in that, we can still judge Hardaway, say he's not the point guard at the moment, and he's scoring the ball. I'm going to go with Curry, more feared, in that he has to be the guy that you stop. On Golden State, with Run TMC, it wasn't always Hardaway that was the threat to be the leading scorer. He was going to be the one that was going to dish and make things happen. On the Heat, it was always, a group of guys getting it in. It wasn't necessarily Tim Hardaway, whereas Steph Curry undoubtedly is the dude. Even when they had KD came because Curry would take the pressure off of him, and he was able to be KD, and now we see KD struggles without, and that's why my first person, I say Curry's better than Hardaway. The first person I want to talk about.
Do you think KD's struggling, or he just ain't winning big without Curry?
I don't,
because he's still balling.
KD's gonna ball, but that's where you kind of put KD in the Jason McGrady category. He's just gonna be an all-time leading scorer. He'd never be an all-time leading winner, and that's not by his own downfall. It's not because he's not a winner, because he just hasn't been in the right situations his whole career. He went and got 2 good ones because he had a good situation to go into. But now we're seeing that he is not able to cultivate an environment. And that's not just him. He ain't the GM. He's not the coach. He has Steve Nash is probably not the greatest coach in the world. So I'm not going to give him a bunch of excuses, but I don't think the Nets are going to win a championship with KD as the dude. Again, he's one of the most gifted scorers of all time, but KD is never going to break the top 10 in my book. So it's hard to kind of judge that. But going back to Tim Hardaway, I would take Curry just because he is more of a threat. He ain't stronger than Tim Hardaway. He might not have the same handle as Hardaway. I mean, the handle is pretty comparable, but I believe his shooting ability takes him way over Tim Hardaway. My first guy is a current guy. Is Curry better than Ja Morant? No, I want to go Kyrie. Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie.
Is Steph Curry better than Kyrie Irving? And we're talking about shooting ability. Of course, Curry has been tabbed the best shooter of all time. But Kyrie ain't bad. Curry can shoot that thing. Handles, I believe they gave Kyrie the edge in handle, but Curry has shown he has magical handles too. Now, impact on the game. We've seen how impressive Kyrie can be when he was with the Cavs with LeBron. He's had his issues up and down, on and off the court. He's a forward thinker in his own right. He thinks differently, but it's going to become a problem on a team. And that's kind of where I put Kyrie below Steph Curry because, as you said, Curry might be selfish in that he's looking for a shot and he's trying to get his, but that's what the game is dictated. That's what his team needs him to do. Kyrie can be selfish in his own right, too, to their own detriment. Kyrie will score 50 and not give the ball to anybody, whereas Harden can score 50 and still get 12 assists. There's just some things that Kyrie doesn't do, and that's why he was casted up out of Boston. He didn't work out with LeBron, and I don't think it's all good in Brooklyn. So I'll take Steph Curry over Kyrie. What you think?
I'm taking Curry over Kyrie. I think skill-wise, Kyrie might be better, but we're talking about the overall body work of the player. What makes Kyrie lesser than Curry, besides just being a pure great shooter, is he doesn't work well in a team situation. Kyrie he's not a team player. I think his demeanor and how he comes off rubs his teammates the wrong way. They love to have his ability, but I think it wears on you after a while, where Curry doesn't have that. He doesn't wear on his teammates. He doesn't wear them down. I mean, I think if you put Kyrie and Curry in a one-on-one situation, once Kyrie gets the ball, Curry ain't getting it back. He just has too much. That ball is too much on the string. He finishes well, and he can shoot. And we know Curry can't defend. But Kyrie ain't a great defender either. But he has a better chance of guarding Curry than Curry has of guarding him. And he showed that in the Cavs, in the finals, when the Cavs played the Warriors. He outplayed Curry. When you look at it, he outplayed Curry that series. So, I mean, I'm taking Curry. I think he's a better player just overall, because your mentality is also a big part of how you play. So I'm taking Curry.
All right. And that might be because we just saw Curry do something for the fourth time. You know what I'm saying? So I think what we've been asking him to show us, he did. And I know Esquire Everett Glenn was like, y'all need to give Curry his flowers, man. Y'all talking bad about Curry. He's great. Well, he wasn't great in game 5. Was it game 5?
Yeah, he was terrible.
And I was like, you can't have games like that when you're trying to have a legacy game or a legacy series. But he came back game 6 and put us in our place. So I think that kind of might be weighing a little bit on me a little bit that, yeah, without a doubt, Curry is a clutch performer. We still ain't got no clutch shots. We're still waiting on the clutch shot. All right, who you got next?
All right, I got next. I got KJ. KJ, one of my favorite players.
Kevin Johnson.
Give a shameless plug. He got a new restaurant in downtown LA that I haven't been to yet, but my family has been. So I'm a little mad about that. Kevin Johnson. People forget Kevin Johnson, even before he got Charles Barkley, he had made it to the Western Conference Finals. He just was outgunned. He lost a Western Conference Final to the Lakers, and he lost another one to the Trailblazers. But it was just him. And Kevin Johnson career 17.9 points per game, 9.1 assists per game. 5 double seasons where he had points and assists and over 20 points and over 10 assists per game. His best season 22.5 and 11.4 assists. So I like KJ. We'll dunk on you in an instant, blazing speed. He just wasn't the shooter Curry was. If I need somebody to go downhill and get to the basket and do his thing, I'm going with KJ. If I need somebody to just gun, I'm gonna go with Curry. To me, maybe because I'm biased because I'm such a KJ fan, it's a toss-up. I just never thought KJ was on the team until he got Barkley that could even contend, and even then they had to contend with one of the great dynasties of all time, the Bulls. So, and then he got worn down from all the contact getting in the paint. It's a toss-up for me. It's a toss-up. I know a lot of people be looking at me like, well, KJ ain't got no chips. If you ever watch that dude ball, this dude gave Magic Johnson the blues when the Phoenix Suns upset the Lakers in the playoffs. He gave Magic the blues. He was killing Magic.
And we're talking about Magic as one of the Mount Rushmore type guys. So at his very best, KJ is very, very good. So it's a toss-up. Maybe more bias on my part.
What you think? I agree KJ was a monster. But my recency bias and the three-point shot, where everything else is comparable, except for maybe KJ's toughness, I will say KJ had to go through a little bit more as far as contact's concerned. It's a different era. You put KJ in today's era, who's stopping him? If you put KJ in today's era, he's John Morant. You can't guard him.
Yeah.
And he's dunking on you. But which goes to my number 2, John Morant. So if KJ is John Morant, I think Curry's better than John Morant because of how he plays. Not necessarily skill and explosiveness, but is John Morant's style going to win a championship? John Morant is Allen Iverson with a little bit more size and explosion. And AI came close until he ran into the Lakers. But where you going to win a championship with AI? And I love AI. I'm the biggest AI fan. But his style was never going to get you a chip. I don't think John Morant is going to win the chip. I think he'll be one of the top players for a long time, but I think his style will not be, I guess, wide open enough for others to be, like when he doesn't play, the team shouldn't play better. The team played better when he does not play. And that means something's not right there. I know the team's well coached, they got good teammates, but when he plays, they just watch him play. They don't play with him. And that's kind of what how is that possible? Like, if you say Curry is selfish, but how are the guys able to play with him and they play better without John Morant? So I'm going to go with Curry's better than John Morant.
I'm with your boy, Mr. Lansky.
Too soon?
Way too soon for Morant, man. It's just way too soon. And because we see specialness in Morant. The only problem I feel with Morant is injuries. He seems to be a little injury prone right now. He's not AD injury prone, but he's a little injury prone. Well, I think it's a little bit too early for Morant.
He's Derrick Rose. Stays healthy. He's Derrick Rose.
Huh?
He's Derrick Rose.
He's Derrick Rose. So I would love to see Morant do well. He's one of my family's favorite players. My son loves him. I love him. My wife loves him. He's one of my top 5 players currently in the league right now. He's only behind Giannis as far as people that I like in this league in the current state. So right now, I would most definitely give that edge to Curry, even though Morant is special. And I hope that we get to see his special career live to its fullness, that he's able to maximize his career, because I think we're going to be entertained by this man.
Let me challenge you a bit. You said you don't like the way Curry plays the game. Do you like the way John Morant plays the game? Because he takes some bad shots too.
He takes a lot of bad shots. But what I like about Morant is that he's not settling for, I'm just going to dribble, pass, run back around for a 3. He's going to attack the basket. You know, he's going to force you to make calls. He's going to do a lot of things that Curry's not trying to do. Curry's not headed to the basket unless it's an open lane. I've seen Curry have a chance to make a shot over somebody, pass the ball, run back out to the 3, and then shoot the 3. Morant's not doing that. He gets full head of, get camera ready, because he coming for your head. So that's what I like about Ja Morant's game. Like I said, I'm an inside player. I was a 5'10" center for my church. So yeah, I love
drop stepping for the Lord. Game, drop step for the Lord. Throw it to Jim. Big TJ in the house.
Jump hook. Had a cold jump hook for 5'10".
Cold jump hook. My staff said, off topic real quick, would the Warriors beat a healthy Bucks? Nah.
No.
The Celtics could have beaten.
No.
If the Celtics were smarter, they would have beat the Warriors. They weren't smart enough. I don't think the Bucks formula is very difficult.
Don't think that dumb.
They get to the basket, and then Middleton hits shots when Giannis is being triple teamed.
Yeah.
That's why they're the champs.
And Jen, Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
Drew Holiday, one of my favorite players, is so underrated as a player. He'll give you buckets and he can D. You know, a lot of the stuff that Marcus Smart wasn't getting away with the flopping, Drew ain't flopping. Drew gonna get up and Drew gonna play. That's why I'm surprised Drew Holiday has never gotten a DPOY, as a player, because he gives you everything on the court. He can do it all, and he's a Swiss Army knife as a point guard out there, and I like him. He's just underrated, but I don't think the Warriors beat them.
Early prediction: Defensive Player of the Year next year will be Drew Holiday, because he got snubbed this year. I think he was more. Yeah. I mean, we gave it to Smart. I think Smart got it because he had that Instagram video and how he was showing how you steal the ball from people. Like, oh, this is pretty cool. Maybe he is that good. Let's take a look at him. I'm like, wait a minute, man. I was like, come on, man. Come on, man. Mike Staff put it out there. Surprise. Curry's the best point guard today. Is he a point guard?
He's not a point guard. Mike, I hear you. If we want to just categorize
combo guard,
he's the best guard now in today's game. I give you that. He's the best guard in today's game.
And I give him that. He's not 6'1", he's 6'3". So he's a shooting guard. It ain't because he's a shooting guard. Mark Paul said he's 5'10" center. I'm a 6'1", 300-pound shooting guard. Mark Paul is man, I always tell a story when I first met Mark Paul at the LA Fitness, man. He had the wettest jump shot from the corner. I said, who is this left guard out here stroking us? I called him Big Sexy. I said, look at Big Sexy out there stroking. He be clapping for the ball like, give it up. Let me get that. And he was stroke that thing. And I was like, this dude right here can shoot it. I said, bro, if you was a 200 pounds less, you'd be in the NBA. Big Joker. Mike, that's the top 3 all-time point guards in my opinion, but Curry damn near lost the finals MVP to Wiggins. The reporters already had to fix in for Curry to get it. Wiggins deserved it more than Iggy in 2015. If Curry would have had another 15-point game, and Wiggins had 25, I saw it. It was coming. They was going to snub him again.
I don't know. I think they was going to give it to Curry.
Irregardless, with the IR. Like a bad word, irregardless. Like, they're going to give it to Curry or they don't want the man to kill himself.
They was going to give it to Curry no matter what. Yeah.
Mike said, why isn't he a point guard? Because he can shoot. Shooting guards usually are over 6'5". I don't go by height. I go by how they got the ball in the offensive scheme. Like, is there an offensive scheme? Is there a point guard? Most offenses don't have a point guard today. The Boston Celtics don't have a point guard.
There's no point guards.
No point guards. That's it.
I mean, let's name the true point guards that they have nowadays in the league. Iverson, CP3. That's it. He's the only one that's a real uniform point guard. That's it.
I would say
we stop there.
I would say what's my man from Villanova? Plays for the Grizzlies. Is he on the Grizzlies? Or was it the Jazz? Brunson. Is Brunson a point guard?
Oh, Brunson. Oh, for the Mavericks.
Mavericks, yeah. Is Luka a point guard? Nope. Combo guard.
No, because Luka looks for his shot most likely.
I guess I'm thinking about
No, Magic is a point guard. Mike. All right, Mike. Let's not do that. Magic is a point guard.
A pass
he facilitated for his offense.
A pass first
player.
General. Like, there's no more rondos. Like a dude with a nasty jump shot that does everything else. That's another topic for another day, man.
Another topic. All right, you know what? Let's lessen this to 5. We'll take the next players, the best players on a level. We kind of running long-winded. So
all right, my next one. Let's do my favorite player, Dame Lillard. It's Dame Lillard and Steph Curry. Who's better? And in the moment, easy Curry. But for a minute, when Curry and them were struggling a little bit, Dame was getting love. Is Curry that much better than Dame Lillard? In the moment right now, yes. And because of championships, yes. But are they the same player? If you put Dame in Curry's situation.
If you put Dame in Curry's situation, I think you still get the same result. But I just think Curry's a better fit for that team. Dame time, let's face it. When Dame Lillard goes Dame time, there's not a better guard in the NBA. But that's when he's at Dame time.
When he's not Dame time, he's still.
Other than that,
he's inconsistent when it's not Dame time. And what's our guy that they traded? That they traded to New Orleans? McCollum. McCollum proved once he got to New Orleans, he should be in the conversation of good guard nowadays too. He was overshadowed by Dame. McCollum changed the culture of that Pelicans team. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like you say, because of what Curry just did, you give Curry the nod. But if I'm picking a guy that I want to lead my team, I mean, what I mean by lead, because I don't think Curry's the leader of the Warriors. I think Draymond's the leader of the Warriors, and that's what he brings to the table. But Dame is more of a leader, and I don't know, man. That's a toss-up to me. It's a toss-up. I can't pick. It's a toss-up.
Yeah, again, in the moment, Curry's better, but I will take Dame because I like Dame. I mean, his story, it comes down to comparables, handle and leadership and all this other stuff and willingness to stay. They both stayed and not ring chasing. I don't think Dame wins a championship. If he gets no help, he's not going to win a championship. He's not going to win a championship in Portland. But we're talking about better.
Yeah.
Again, Curry's been the beneficiary of Bob Myers, our classmate at UCLA. Bob was a walk-on at UCLA basketball team, and we were just like, Bob had bigger plans. And look at Bob. Bob is doing pretty good. Bob had a plan to put together one of the best dynasties in the history of basketball as he sat there on the bench and watched Chris Johnson and them guys play. So sometimes you're just fortunate, like Curry's been fortunate. Mike Staff said Brunson is a point guard who can score. I think most point guards have to score today, but is anybody running, like anybody slowing down the offense and orchestrating, getting the guys the ball in their spots, or are they creating, going to the basket and kicking out? Is that the new point guard? If there's a such thing as a point guard today.
Yeah, I just think that none of these guys really know how to play half-court basketball. And the thing is, people go where they play at a higher pace. They don't play it in a higher pace in the 80s. The 80s was the highest pace of basketball in NBA history. But they don't have guys who, when it comes down to it, one of the main reasons why they can't play half-court basketball, you don't have good post players. Their best post player is Joel Embiid, and he'd rather shoot threes and jumpers. Our three-point champion was a center this year in Cat. So it's just crazy on how the league has changed. Let's get to my number 3.
Let's get to it.
A guy that who had a Finals MVP before Curry as a point guard, Tony Parker. There was a point in Tony Parker's career where he was the best player on the Spurs. As Tim Duncan got older, Parker really became their best player, and he ended up getting a Finals MVP for it. I think Tony Parker was underrated. People forget, 1 year, Tony Parker led all players in paint points. Let's say that again.
Paint.
A 6'2", 180-pound player led the NBA in paint points. Tony Parker was a dog. If anybody remember that Spurs Sun series when Steve Nash first got to the Suns and he was killing it, he got the MVP. In that 5-game series, that gentleman's sweep, Tony Parker would wait until the fourth quarter and he would just destroy Steve Nash. Would just go out as what's the cat that played for the Suns that was Duncan, Amari Stoudemire. He outplayed Duncan in that series. But Tony Parker would be the guy who was just in the fourth quarter just taking Nash off the dribble, scoring in the paint, eating him up, just ate him up. So to me, because like I say, I love point play. I love the paint play. And Tony Parker, if I need a guy who's going to just be a dog down the stretch, I'm going with Tony Parker. If I need front running, we're up 10 and I need somebody to hit big, it's because Curry did show in that proof, and I hate when I have to agree with Skip Bayless. In that 21-0 run last night, Curry wasn't a part of that. That was all the other guys. Yeah. And then he came in and just started knocking down shots. So I'm going with Tony Parker, man.
Tony Parker better than Steph Curry, and he got 5 tips, right?
And what I like out of a player.
And what you like. And he got 5 chips. And the Finals MVP with the Tim Duncan squad.
Yeah.
And Manu Ginobili.
He has 4. He actually has 4.
4 chips.
He wasn't part of the first one.
4 chips.
Yeah.
I think this is probably one of the closest ones. In that we have a guy whose body of work is long enough to compare and who was feared. I think Tony Parker was feared as this guy might go for 35 if we're not careful. But it wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't have to shoot the 3. He got in the paint with so much ease, and his teardrop was unstoppable. I think he got one here. Would you take Tony Parker now? I wasn't the biggest Spurs fan. So then again, fandom jumps in.
Oh, I couldn't stand Spurs.
You can't stand
I couldn't stand him either.
You can't stand this style of play.
I love his style of play, though.
I'm going to go Curry, but Tony Parker, man, he was different. He was just a little pest, man. He was just doing that little Euro, that little and getting the inside and this little teardrops. And before you know it, he got 25.
Yeah, that teardrop was crucial.
Man, he was in that paint. I mean, he was getting big dudes looking stupid, throwing right over their fingertips. But yeah, I'm gonna go Curry on this one, man. I think Tony Parker is right there as far as guys under 6'4" that were just feared by the opposing team and nothing you could do about it. Brandon Henry said Tony Parker should be in top 75. He's not? Wow.
Tony Parker's not in the top 75.
To revisit that thing. I think Tony Parker and Dwight Howard should be in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, the boy Pat Bev just said that Curry is the most feared guard in the league today. Most feared guard. Most feared guard in the league today. And that's Pat Bev. He don't like everybody.
Anything Pat Beverly says, anything Pat Beverly says, I think it's to annoy another person. So it's somewhere along the line with Patrick Beverly saying that is he throwing shots at somebody.
Yeah.
We just got to figure out who he throwing shots at in the meantime.
He trolling. All right, so just rapid fire, man. Right. People starting to say crazy stuff on Sports Talk Radio that Curry's better than LeBron. No way.
We shouldn't have that conversation.
It shouldn't even be a conversation. No way. But people are actually fixing their mouth to say Curry's better than or more valuable than LeBron James. Stop it. Is Curry better than CP3? No. Rapid fire. CP3. No championships, but considered the best point guard, the last point guard standing. No, I don't think CP3 is better than Curry.
CP3 is not better than Curry.
About old school guys. How about Zeke, Isaiah Thomas?
I think so. People forget who Zeke had to battle for supremacy in the league. The Boston Celtics, who had 5 Hall of Famers, and he battled them. He battled Jordan. He battled Magic. He played Magic in 2 finals, went 1-1. I mean, they made 3 finals in a row, 5 conference finals in a row, and he can dribble with the best of them. Remember, he went for 24 points on a bum ankle, 3rd period. That dude was tough, man. That dude is tough, man. It's hard for me to say somebody's better than Isaiah Thomas in today's current standards because Zeke can give you 40. Zeke can give you 20 assists. Zeke will D you up. Zeke will fight you. If Zeke wasn't feeling it, Zeke gonna knuckle up.
That puts you ahead. Zeke was nasty and dirty and would do anything to win.
Zeke was tough, man. I get it. He's not a light player. He's the Hannibal Lecter of basketball. People just don't like Zeke.
He scares me a little bit, man. He's so soft spoken, but he seems like
tough.
He seemed like he would kill you in an empty room if it was just you and him, and you had to go head up. He would pick up something and slice you up while you're sleeping. He just seems diabolical, man. Mike Staff said Curry just passed Zeke in his book. I feel like Zeke was more of a dog. Zeke could do more.
Why, off of one game? So they lose the series?
Curry changed the game and is more.
So Mike, if they lost the series, would Curry have been better? So based on win or loss, did he pass him? That's what it is.
That's what we were listening for. If Curry wins this series, he's now top 10. He wasn't top 10 yesterday. So you have to include accomplishments and numbers of rings. But then again, LeBron only got how many rings? And he's already passed Kobe. He's already passed, Bird, Magic, all these, in these people's books. He just hasn't passed Michael Jordan and Kareem in some people's books. Some people have LeBron as best player of all time. I believe Jay Will said LeBron James is best basketball player of all time. And that's a recent dude. He played in this era, and he said LeBron James is the best player ever. And I was like, well, to each his own. Oh man, TJ said, is LeBron better than Jordan? That's a whole nother topic for another show. For me, no. But he is physically. And for
me, yes.
For what he does. But I still take Jordan over LeBron. For whatever reason.
I'm not based on LeBron's a franchise upon himself. Wherever he goes, he's bringing that team to be better. So it's hard when the guy is a franchise upon himself. Like when we're going to look back at the great dynasties, we're going to have to look at one player and go, man, that dude was a dynasty on his own.
If LeBron wins 9 finals and doesn't lose any, does he? Is that what?
Would be 10 because he made 10 finals.
If he's 9-1, does he get more?
If he's 9-1, I think they would doing what he's doing. If he's 9-1, people would say he's the greatest.
So it does matter.
No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. Because people just don't like him.
That's what
people just don't like him.
That's why I always go back to, I love the stats you be bringing, because it brings context to what we're talking about. But when you're a kid and you're fantasizing about what you're seeing on television, you don't care about how many points or how many championships. For some reason, this dude is my hero. This dude right here is unbelievable. This dude I want to be like him. I don't even hear nobody saying they want to buy LeBron shoes. And yet Michael Jordan is still selling knockoff shoes of the shoes he wore 25 years ago. Something is missing from our debate about who's better. It's just like something Michael Jordan, I know he was the beneficiary of the internet and whatever first came out, and David Stern using him as to make this thing global, and LeBron James is now the next guy as a billionaire. Shout out to LeBron James and being a great, role model, good dude all around. But something is not resonating with us, man. Why is it like right now saying he want to play for Golden State or saying he not committed to the Lakers? Those type of statements is killing a fan like myself who's a fan of LeBron James. But you continue to do small little things that be like, yeah, he ain't Jordan. Yeah, he ain't Kobe.
But as everybody would say, it's about winning, right? So you want to put yourself in the best opportunity to win. People forget Kobe asked for trades.
He was bluffing.
You know what I'm saying?
Bluffing?
Kobe asked for trades. They just didn't trade him. So that's not act as if, everybody else was all squeaky clean. I mean, Jordan had to disappear for the game for a couple of years. What's the reason behind that? And if you let him tell it, the media drove him away when he put it in his documentary. When we talk about how strong he was and how tough he was, how does the media, nobody's ever guarding you or taking a shot against you, drive you away from the game that you love? So, I mean, it depends. I mean, I think people hate LeBron because of everything that's come with LeBron. From the time he was in the senior year of high school to now, he's a big deal. You can arguably say for almost 2 decades, that dude has dominated basketball talk. I mean, who does that? Or who has done that in their career? So it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. All right, let me get to my last 2 that I want to throw out there. Derrick Rose and D Wade. Derrick Rose and D Wade. Do you think Curry is better than both Derrick Rose and Dwayne Wade?
Sheesh. I would say I don't even want to compare him to D Wade. 2 different. I don't know. They're both combo guards, but I think D Wade's more of a guard and small forward than he is a point guard and shooting guard. In that he was a bigger, stronger type body. Wade County was a real thing. That was his team, and they were champions. But it was just different, man. Now D Rose, being the powerhouse that he was at the size he was, and the MVP, and how he came on strong and took the league by storm, but we knew that wasn't sustainable. We knew that was going to ultimately end in an injury because he was so explosive, and his game was getting to the rack. His jump shot was suspect, so I can't say if Derrick Rose never got hurt, because the way he plays, he can't help but get hurt. His style is not safe. His style is reckless. It's above the rim. It's a lot on your knees, a lot on your lower back. As we've seen real quick, how many times did John Morant get hurt this year? At least 4 times. And explosive type of injuries. So you're going to have to find a different type of game, which makes me think Curry had the ankle problems early on, but he found the right ankle braces, found the right nutrition, got the right weights, got the right muscles together to sustain a pretty healthy career. So I'm going to go Curry over Derrick Rose, even though Derrick Rose was fun to watch that 1 year. I got Curry over them. And then D-Wade, I'm going to go Curry. I don't think D-Wade is one of the best shooting guards of all time. But I think Curry is surpassing D-Wade by a long shot. And I don't have Dwayne Wade in my conversation of best player as far as possibly being top 10, whereas Curry is creeping up. How is he getting better? Like you said, how did he got better by winning the championship? He just proved that his style wins. And Dwayne Wade needed a little help at the end. So I don't know.
I'm gonna say this. I watched Dwayne Wade before he got LeBron, and in that finals against Dallas, where they were the prohibited underdogs, that man put on one of the greatest finals performances I've ever seen.
Forget about it. How you forget about that?
When he first got to Miami, he was. You got to remember, he first got to Miami his rookie year. It was him, Lamar Odom, and Caron Butler. That was their big three, and they were a young core. And Dwayne Wade had to play the point. He was facilitating for everybody. Now, was he a true point? No. But could he handle the ball and facilitate the offense? Yes. But as that team got old around him, and then he finally got LeBron and stuff like that, he was entering the end of his prime. Those first 2 years with LeBron, there's the last part of his prime. Those last 2 years of LeBron, he fell out of his prime, big time. So I like Dwayne Wade in his absolute prime. The top 3 shooting guards to me of all time are Jordan, Kobe, and Wade. Those are my top 3 shooting guards of all time. So I mean, I think D Wade as a player. We're not just talking about point guards. We're talking about top 10 players of all time. D Wade ain't a top 10 player, and I have him over Curry because of what he showed that he can do without any help at all. That the team is still pretty competitive without help. But I don't think Curry's a top 10 player either. So I don't think Wade or Curry are top 10 players, but I do have Wade slightly over Curry. And then when it comes to Derrick Rose, I just wish he never got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I wish he never got hurt because I think we missed out on it. It's almost like, what's your boy for Portland? Brandon Roy. Imagine Brandon Roy and Derrick Rose not getting hurt. I think we see something really special from those 2 players. And D Rose is still a serviceable player even after that injury. But before that injury, man, that dude was so dynamic and so good. I'm going to give Curry the legacy. He has a longer, stronger legacy. But Derrick Rose, man, was something special. And it's sad that we didn't get to see him at his absolute.
I think we did. I think he peaked in college.
His paychecks peaked in college.
Yeah, he got paid. Memphis was the beneficiary of prime Derrick Rose at Memphis. My favorite player under 6'3" is Allen Iverson, and I hate to say it, Steph Curry is better than Allen Iverson. But I would still buy an Allen Iverson jersey before I wear a Steph Curry jersey, and that just comes back from fandom and the story. I know I relate more to Iverson's story than I do to Steph Curry's story. I didn't have a silver spoon in my mouth. I came from a welfare family, and I know what it means to come from nothing. So I resonate more with Allen Iverson's story and him being, beating up a whole bowling alley by himself. I understand that. I understand what he's overcome and how he became, regardless of what they said he wouldn't be. And he played for Georgetown, and he played for Philadelphia. So I'm like, yo, is Curry better than Iverson? Yeah, I hate to say it, but I'm a bigger AI fan than I am of a Curry fan.
I don't know, man. I can't say Curry's better than AI. I don't think AI ever was on a team that was that good to win the championship. Even when he joined with Carmelo
and both him and Carmelo were going over 20 a game. That Nuggets team just wasn't good, and George Karl is a proven non-winning coach. George Karl is a step under Doc Rivers as a coach. He's not going to win the. Doc Rivers got lucky winning the big one once, but as far as that, he's just not getting it done. But Iverson, to me, epitomizes the underdog, that guy who's so much better, but was never on the team. He's like that dude that played for Compton High. He can play running back, wide receiver, quarterback, DB, linebacker. But you know when y'all played them, he gonna get a touchdown, but y'all gonna beat him by 50. 100. That's who Iverson was. He was just the good guy on a bad team. For his whole career.
I throw it back at you like I did earlier. You put AI on the Warriors in this style. I don't think AI's style is a winning one. Again, he's a smaller version.
I think he changes his game, though.
Will he change his game like John Morant?
I think he changes his game because you think about this. Iverson could play point guard and facilitate when need be. He just was never on a team where that's what they needed. They needed him to score, kind of like how you say the Warriors need Curry to score. Those teams needed. I mean, who was going to score? Aaron McKee, Mutombo, Theo Ratliff.
No, Eric Snow.
Eric Snow.
Eric Snow's going to give you 10 and 10.
Yeah, he's going to get you a triple single.
9 balling.
But Iverson had a season where he led his team in scoring and assists, steals. He was like third in blocks, and he was like third in rebounds at under 6 feet. And I mean, that's what he had to do for his team. Yeah. When you're under 6 feet and you're third on your team in blocks, that's crazy. Third on your team in rebounds, that's crazy. Like that's the season he had. So I mean, Curry has it easier because he was able. Like people forget when Curry and Draymond and Clay first got together, they couldn't even get over 500. Then they were built into a under Mark Jackson's tutelage that finally got to the playoffs. You remember they couldn't get past the Clippers, and then Mark Jackson, they brought in Kerr, and Kerr just let them kind of freelance. They got rid of David Lee. They started playing Draymond more, and that team kind of took off after that. But AI never had to grow with. You know, they never. Remember they had Stackhouse. They got rid of Stackhouse. They brought in Tim Thomas. They got rid of Tim Thomas. They brought in Larry Hughes. They got rid of Larry Hughes. And it was just like, how you expect this guy to win when you keep getting rid of the second best player that he needs to carry that scoring load? Because right after they traded Stackhouse, he was the second leading scorer in the NBA, behind Iverson.
Yeah.
So you could have had a great 1-2 punch, but they decided to get rid of him. I think if you let Iverson just facilitate, he could have did that. I mean, he ain't gonna shoot the three like Curry, but I think he would have played and been able to facilitate because he would have had other guys like Game 6 Clay that can go for it, or KD, or even Harrison Barnes to a lesser extent. He could have had those guys. So I don't know, man. I think AI could have changed his game.
You said Harrison Barnes on our show. You said Harrison Barnes on our show. You said we got Andrew Wiggins up here balling. You gonna bring up Harrison Barnes?
They got a ring with Harrison Barnes.
Man, that was
even though in that series, hey, AC, I looked up the stats in that series. Harrison Barnes gave them 8 points, 4 rebounds a game, and they won a chip.
Balling.
That's why Iggy was so important.
Dang.
That's why Iggy was so important, man. They brought Iggy in.
Man,
like, get Harrison Barnes up out of here, man.
He was shooting that elbow. He was shooting that elbow jumper. I'm like, dude, quit shooting. It's not your year.
They stopped guarding.
I said they playing 4-on-5 out this bad boy. I said Harrison Barnes, and they like, we need to get KD. That's when they said we need to get KD. Nigga, we need somebody at the 3.
We need to upgrade.
We need somebody at the 3.
Where's Beyonce at? We need to upgrade you.
I was like, Harrison Barnes? Come on, man. You might as well pick up Smush Parker or somebody, put him out there, man. Yeah, man. So,
hey, man, they could have picked you up, and I could have given Harrison Barnes.
I'd have gave you 8 and 4. 8 and 4.
I'd have given you 8 and 4 easy.
We're going to change Harrison Barnes out for Kevin Durant.
With 6 fouls.
Man, I'd have given you 5 hard ones. Questionable. They had to review every foul I gave. Every foul I gave will be a review. It's like that boy out there fouling.
Did he do that with malicious intent?
Yeah, Mr. Smith in the house. What up?
Yes.
All right, man.
Hey, you know who Harrison Barnes remind me of? Remember Robertson for the OKC?
Oh yeah.
Remember he could nothing.
He had to do reverse layups.
That's how they lost that 3-1 lead.
He had to do reverse layups to make layups. I was like, I've missed my share of layups in my day, but dang, this dude in the league and can't make a layup. I was like, what are you?
That dude was 6'8".
Dunk the ball. Just dunk it every time. Every single time. Just dunk it. All right, man. So we talked about how we're judging basketball players. What about football players? How should we? Do we have to stay within? Because we keep hearing how Tom Brady is the greatest football player of all time. They even saying he's the best athlete. And I'm like, hold on now, Chief. What's the criteria for being the best athlete of all time? Shouldn't you be athletic? First thing first, you got to be athletic a little bit. So how do we judge athletes? Skills, ability, body of work, all three, something else? What can we do?
All of the above, and all of the above in the context of the era that they played in. Like, for instance, and I like this. You can take Barry Sanders, put him in any era, you're going to go, that's a great running back right there. That dude's a great running back. But then you can take a guy like an Eric Metcalf, right? You put Eric Metcalf in today's game, that dude's a baller because of everything that he can do in the return game as a receiver. People forget he's a Pro Bowl receiver, but he was drafted to be a running back. Yeah, he's a Pro Bowl receiver drafted to be a running back. So it depends on the era and with your skills, your ability, and your body work. Like, who can we say? I wouldn't necessarily say that Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback based on what the context of the era is. You can't touch the quarterback. But you could take a guy like a Dan Marino, right? That dude played in the era where the quarterback was fair game. He couldn't move a lick. And that dude had like one of the longest streaks ever without getting sacked. His release was so quick where he couldn't get touched. Not because his line was great. His release was so quick, but the defender would be there and he just got rid of the ball. So imagine putting him in today's era where you can't touch a quarterback. He can sit in the pocket and dink and dunk. The man can throw any with any type of touch in the league. But people are going to say Brady's a better player. If Brady and Marino had a quarterback competition for the starter, Marino's going to win because he can do everything Brady can do. Marino's going to have more talent. But, you know, Brady is the champion. He's played for a great dynasty, and there were rules that were changed. There were things that he got lucky with, the Tuck rule, Spygate, all type of things that clouds his legacy. You know, and I'm not the biggest Brady fan, but I enjoy his immortality in the sport. I enjoy the fact that he gets to play the villain for 20 plus years, and we don't want him to succeed, and he keeps proving us wrong. So I like that about him, but I wouldn't say that Brady's a better player than Lawrence Taylor, a better player than Barry Sanders, a better player than Deion Sanders, a better player than Jerry Rice. I just don't see it. I don't see it. So what you think?
I think it's very difficult to cross the lines talking about best player when we know how much work a running back has to put in, how much work a linebacker has to put in. Best player, and you have to be the best at your position to be in a conversation. If there's question about who's the best player, so we're talking about how do we judge them. Going back to basketball's argument, accomplishments, body of work, teammate, skill, all those things have to be considered. And we still keep Jerry Rice at the top of the receiver list. When it's probably closer than we think as far as T.O., Randy Moss, and all the great receivers of the past. If we go back and look at these situations where he was the beneficiary of the Bill Walsh system and Joe Montana. You put Jerry Rice on a team without Joe Montana and Bill Walsh, do you still have the greatest receiver of all time? I think a lot of these things, like...
Yeah, remember because he went to the Raiders and was good.
Yeah, but was he? He wasn't Jerry Rice. Like he wasn't. He was getting older, of course.
He was old by then.
He was older.
Remember, he was in his late 30s by then.
And and being fortunate to be healthy, like we don't know how good Bo Jackson would have been. He only played, how many seasons? 6 seasons?
4 seasons.
So
4.
Yeah. 4. So it's really hard, but I do believe we have to be able to not be a victim of the moment and look at the context in full before we say who's the best ever. So before we throw Curry in the top 10, let's not neglect the 10 that's in there and how they got there. And why would you move someone above somebody? Because they just won, or because that person is getting so much better than his contemporaries? Like, is Curry getting better than his contemporaries to now be considered better than Bill Russell or Wilt Chamberlain? All of a sudden, Curry's better than these guys. So you go to football. How do we say Lawrence Taylor's not the greatest football player of all time? How do we say Barry Sanders not the best football player of all time? Different careers, different positions, different impact. Like, both of them were the best at their position for a long time. And still, some people still believe they are the best. Like, the longevity of it. Michael Jordan is still considered a GOAT to a lot of people. Kareem still considered a GOAT to a lot of people. And what are they judged by? Dominance of their sport, position, championships, all the things that come to why a person is considered great. But as far as we judging who's better than who, I think we got to consider everything, man. Stats, accomplishments, context, impact, all those things, man. Because there are some great players who didn't do nothing because they never was given the opportunity to be great.
Yeah.
But they could have been great. Like Lawrence Phillips. Lawrence Phillips could have been great.
What's the lineman for the Cleveland Browns? He was a Pro Bowler for most of his career, but never played in a playoff game. Imagine that.
Just played in one playoff game, I think, at the end. And it's just unfortunate. Some guys just never get the opportunity because of the situation they were drafted into. And we'll never get to give them their flowers because they never get the situation to win. So that's why I think it's very tough to not consider situation and franchise. Because how many, like, Megatron should be the greatest receiver of all time if he was not on the Detroit Lions.
They lined up in a double team. They lined up to double team him. Like, they literally put another DB in front of him. Like, it was
punt coverage. They had the punt coverage defense on Megatron. And a safety on top. Who was getting triple teamed?
And it still didn't work.
Who was getting triple teamed? Megatron and Moss.
That just goes to show you how sorry the other receivers are. When one player is taking 3 people in a route, and the other dude.
That's why, like, the Detroit Lions might have been ruining careers way before Barry and Megatron. Because, I mean, dang, man. All right, man. So context, skills, everything goes into how we judge an athlete. So don't just jump up. We love Steph Curry, but is Steph Curry better than Wilt Chamberlain? Come on, man. Wilt Chamberlain, didn't he average 50 points a game for a season?
Yeah. But he played against mailmen and babysitters. That's what they'll tell you. He faced Bob Pettit and Bill Russell. That's who he faced. Willis Reed. That's who he faced.
Didn't Willis Reed beat up
Hall of Famers?
Didn't Willis Reed beat the whole team up? That one clip where he beat the whole team up?
Yeah.
That's a mean man.
He beat the whole team up.
You can beat up a whole team of grown men. You're a mean man. That's a mean man. Yeah, it's
And Willis Reed still has one of the greatest finals moments ever. He comes in on a bad leg, hits 2 shots. And that's all everybody talk about. They had a whole game to play. The people just talk about that moment where he
Willis
hit 2
Reed
shots.
comes out, and then Paul Pierce try to redo it, but he had to go poo-poo. Paul Pierce didn't do it. Willis Reed. Paul Pierce did a poo-poo. All right, man. NFL minicaps going on. Did you see that the Commanders are being fined for being too physical in OTAs? What are your memories of OTAs? Was OTAs physical when you played?
In Chicago, I missed OTAs because of the rule that if your school wasn't out yet, you couldn't go to OTAs. So unless I dropped out of college, I wouldn't been able to go to OTAs. So I didn't go to OTAs. When I was in OTAs in San Francisco, no, not physical at all. Bill Walsh would dare you to knock somebody down in practice. If you knock somebody down in practice, you probably got cut. He wanted a clean practice. He didn't want you. He wanted like the DBs and the linebackers to do flybys. Like they know you, but just run by you. He didn't want you because what if somebody ran into T.O. or ran into Rice, and at the time we had Garrison Hurst. If you run into them in practice, dude, you probably got beat to death out there. So OTAs was fun. They're necessary for people trying to make the team. For the guys who are already on the team, the starters, it's not advantageous. It's probably get work and timing down. I know one of my best memories of OTAs, they had the cornerback that came from Oklahoma State, McQuarters, R.W. McQuarters. No. He calls me out in one-on-ones. And I just come up to the line of scrimmage. They go, "You're not going to get a route?" I said, "Hey, streak." I'm not about to play around with you. And he came up, he missed on the jam, and it was toast. It was toast time. And
you told
so
him
it's just like one of those things. Like I enjoyed that moment because I'm like, this guy was a first round draft pick, supposed to be their next great DB, and I just told him what I'm gonna do and still routed him up. So I enjoyed that. Me and him would go at it in practice a lot. That's what made it fun with that. But like we talked about earlier, man, with you saying about your son playing at Bosco, it got frustrating because I was not given. I can make a play and nobody cared. Other guys made plays and man, what a great play! It was crazy, man. It was crazy. So that was my memories of OTAs in Chicago, but in San Francisco, it was fun. It was fun.
OTAs, for those who are watching, are organized team activities, and I believe they used to have non-mandatory workouts, which were mandatory. Young kids, whenever you hear it's voluntary, that means it's mandatory if you want to keep your good name on the team and the coach's good graces. You can come and not come if you want to. The only person I've ever seen not go to OTAs and still be successful was Sharman Shaw, a.k.a. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. When he would go home to Dorsey and work out and come back to camp, he was faster than everybody else. And Coach Donahue, rest in peace, would say, the only person out here working hard is Sharman. Everybody else out here is running slow. I was like, because you said we can't work out at home this summer. You want us to work out with Coach Yachts and get swole. We all came back slow. We got swole, but we got slow. Whereas Kareem went home to Long Beach Poly in Dorsey and got quick running them sand drills, running the sand dunes, and doing this quick footwork stuff, came at the camp looking all fresh, making us all look slow. You think that was my last offseason at UCLA? I went back home after that. In the league, offseason training, we had no choice. If you were a free agent, you had to be everything they did or you were going to get cut. I remember being there, working all hard, get to camp, and you ain't got no reps. So my only chance to sign was OTA.
Yep.
I'm in there balling the OTAs. I'm in there. They be like, get them reps, Rook, get them reps. I'm like, I'm not a rookie anymore. I'm my third year practice squad player. I've been here for a minute. They be like, get these reps, Rook. Veterans don't come. Veterans watching you out there breaking your ankles trying to make the team. I remember that mess, man. I'm like, man, this stuff ain't important. Ricky Williams wasn't there. Who else wasn't there? Andre Hastings wasn't there. Kerry Collins wasn't there. We in there. Who was our quarterback? Danny Warfel. Danny Warfel was there. Quadri Ishmael was there, but everybody wasn't there. So I'm like, is it important? Must not be. Everybody ain't here. It's voluntary.
Yeah, but I think that's a difference. I think that's a difference in organizations because in San Francisco, everybody was there. But then once again, we got Walsh running it. Walsh wanted everybody there.
Right.
So you knew who your competition was. You knew who you were going up against. So you knew what you had to do. So I think there's a difference in that. I think he made it mandatory. And then who's telling Walsh, I ain't showing up to OTAs.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd like that too much.
If Steve Young and Jerry Rice there, you got to be there. Terrell Owens there, you got to be there. Now, if your star players ain't there, that's when everybody trickle down like it ain't important for the stars, so we know, you paying, we staying. If you ain't paying, I'm staying at home. Ronnie Saw said, anybody keep up with Sharman or Kareem? I believe he's in Miami becoming a doctor. Is that what last time I heard? He was going to become a therapist. This is a great comeback story because remember, Sharman wasn't very good at school. To trying to air some of his dirty laundry, I remember him taking the blue book to the bathroom, coming back with a brand new, with a filled out blue book. We was getting our head beat in this class, and he came back. I said, that brother got the gift. He has the gift. And he got into Bobby Brown's trailer at the MTV Awards. I'm like, that dude is special. He can talk his way out of anything. That dude was special, man. Let me get to the nitty gritty. All right, so Lamar Jackson does not have a deal. Going into these OTAs, going into camp, he has no agent. What's your suggestion or advice to Lamar Jackson?
If I was Lamar Jackson, I would pull the Ray Allen thing. I would hire me a lawyer because remember Ray Allen hired Johnny Cochran, got him paid, and then it was over with. There was no agent. Johnny Cochran got his little cut, and that was it. I think that's what he should do. He should get somebody to represent him. And if you don't go in there with a contract, don't play. I mean, somebody will pick him up. He'll get traded. So if I'm Lamar Jackson, I'm not playing because if he goes out there and get hurt, remember Matt Forte? Yeah. Matt Forte went into a season without a contract and was balling, then got hurt. No, we're not doing that. The other AI, meaning the other Isaiah Thomas. I'm sorry, the other Isaiah Thomas did that in Boston, and so no, don't play, man. Go and get paid first, bro. Get paid.
And people shouldn't go with the narrative that he's being greedy, because people are going to start saying what he deserves and how he does not deserve to be paid like Patrick Mahomes or whoever else. The market is the market. The man moves the needle. The man puts butts in the seats. The man is your franchise player. And if Kirk Cousins can get paid, Lamar Jackson needs to get paid. I ain't saying he should be the highest paid quarterback in the league. He had no championships. But when healthy, he's one of the most dangerous players in the NFL. So I think he should be paid like a top 5 quarterback. Number 6 or number 7. And that should still be $40 million a year. I mean, most a black quarterback has ever made. I believe Patrick Mahomes is considered a brother still, just a little bit. But let's be real, a real bruh, like Lamar Jackson, a real bruh, because I don't even consider Mahomes and Russell Wilson real bruhs. A real bruh like Lamar Jackson, getting that bag will be so powerful for the kids in America. That a kid that came from the bottom of Florida, went to Louisville and became one of the highest paid quarterbacks of all time. So, the wife is home.
Wow. Did you say real bruh?
Real bruh. Let's keep it $1. Russell Wilson. Patrick Mahomes. Real bruh. A real bruh. Oh, let's see if my wife can get the car in the garage with all my stuff in the way. Uh-oh. Let's see. You stop.
Are you about to see a knockout?
If she scratched this car up.
Uh-oh. Don't get him, Joy.
We're having a good time. She says it's a 2-hour live. We having a good time. It's a Friday night. My wife said, tell Jimmy, Mike Stafford, and all of them it's time to shut it down.
I hear you, Joy. I hear you.
Brandon Henry said Watson got the bag today. Did he get paid? I ain't seen nothing about him getting paid. Rodney Sasha said, run, Norbit. Run, Norbit. Don't make me watch Norbit. Don't make me. She said, don't make me push that speaker on your head. End the show. Shut it down.
Wow, y'all getting WWE over there?
It shouldn't be a question about him getting paid. Ridiculous when teams are willing to throw money at Foles and some of these other for way less. That's a whole nother topic in the white quarterback versus black quarterback conversation. It's still very in your face. He's a black quarterback. he can get hurt at any moment because he runs the football. And that's probably what he's dealing with. And he don't have an agent speaking up for him. He had to speak up for himself. The market is what the market is, and they don't want to give him his market value. We saw the same thing with Dak Prescott. They didn't want to pay him. So without Dak Prescott, we saw how bad the Cowboys were. And that kind of helped him out in the long term. We should go ahead and park this car. Oh boy, she got it in there.
All right, let's close it before Joy get violent up in there.
All right, man. Father's Day is Sunday. Joy about to shut.
We don't want Joy to do a Tank Davis on you.
I'm gonna be sleeping in the garage if I don't shut this thing down pretty soon. All right, man. Father's Day Sunday, man. Worst Father's Day gift, best Father's Day gift.
I don't know, man. Since I've been a father, man, there's only one gift I want, and that's to be in the house with my wife and kids. Whatever they give me is usually ignored. I just hold my kids, hold my wife. I enjoy that, man. I enjoy that, and then I hope for peace and quiet at some point. That's how I enjoy Father's Day, man. I don't really care about the shirts or the little pottery that the kids made or the cards and none of that. I just enjoy being in the house with the
macaroni
family,
present they made at school.
Yep, I don't care about that stuff, man. It don't make me none, man. I'm blessed to be a dad. I know there are plenty of people out there who wish they could be a father or a mother, and I just appreciate the fact that I get to be one, and I'm privileged to have two pretty good kids. My son just got the Golden Heart Award for being the nicest kid at his school, and that made me feel good, because in elementary school I was nowhere close to being the nicest kid in school. I was one of the worst kids in school, but I just love that, man. So I enjoy Father's Day just being here. Socks, ties, all that stuff I'm gonna wear at some point, and I just don't really care. But the best gift is just being with them. What's yours, man?
My best Father's Day gifts have been the ability to watch Game 7 if there was a Game 7 and a cheesesteak. Just the appreciation that's what I want. I know a lot of families take their father out to eat. I can't stand going to restaurants. I hate going to a place where you got to wait an hour to sit down. And then you got to worry about your food being good and all that other stuff. So Joy and my mom have realized that I don't like going out to restaurants. So Father's Day, don't try to take me out. Let's, get some really good food, or someone cook really good food, and we sit and watch the game. That's why my concern was the Curry led Warriors winning championship on Game 6 be getting on Game 7 for Father's Day. And that was my thing. I'm selfish enough to say I want a Game 7 on Father's Day so I can have me a cheesesteak, a cactus cooler, and a bag of chips and sit up and enjoy my day. But that's the best Father's Day to me, is just being with my kids, watching the game. And if there's no game to watch, one time I said, I want to play golf. And she's like, well, nobody plays golf but you. And I was kind of like,
yes,
I want to play golf. If y'all don't want to learn how to play, I'll be playing by myself. I wish I played, but y'all don't play. So I'm going to play golf. And she's like, that's kind of selfish. And I was like, but it's Father's Day. You asked me what I want to do. I want to play golf. So, but as far as the gift's concerned, my wife always buys me a round of golf. We've passed those stages of you don't want to spend time with us. No, it's just that's what Daddy wants to do. Let him do it. This year we're gonna spend time with her father. He's 86 years old and he wants to sit up and eat at the house. I said I can dig that. I'll play golf on Monday. So that's my best gifts have been just them listening to my request and being okay with it and not being a big deal. Like I said, the worst gift to me is going to a buffet on Father's Day and having to deal with crowds and having to deal with people and having to deal with waiters and all that other stuff. I'm like, that's for the birds, and I'm good on that. But give me a good sandwich, the game. So now I don't have a game to watch. I'm gonna watch some golf or some USFL. That's pretty cheesy. So, and I heard Jurassic World is terrible, so I don't even have a movie to go watch.
I keep hearing that.
So I'm gonna be.
They got Morbius. I think Morbius on Disney Plus.
Which one?
I think Morbius is on Disney Plus.
Morbius. All right. When is that?
I'm
Rise?
not for sure.
I'm watching the Giannis movie. Rise comes out soon. I think that might be in August. But yeah, man, that's for me, man. Like I said, no socks, no ties. I used to get bow ties and socks and draws. I got all that. I don't need anymore. I just need a good sandwich and a place to sit down, and a cactus cooler, maybe a Chico stick to wash it down at the end.
Chico stick.
Yeah, man. All right, man. Final words. We're getting out of here, man. Happy Father's Day to all the homies, all the brothers out there.
Good night. That's just what I was about to say, man. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. As you heard my wife in the back yelling at my son. But happy Father's Day to all the brothers, man. It's a blessing to always feel that it's a blessing to be a dad. So just enjoy that time, man, with your family, man. Eventually they're going to grow up and be at your house, and you're going to miss them. So Happy Father's Day, fellas.
Amen, brother. I second that motion. We ain't accepting no socks, no ties, no t-shirt, wife beater shirts, none of that stuff. Hook us up with something to eat. Hook us up with a movie night or something. No socks, no drawers, no ties. Y'all be good, man. Peace out.
Peace. Sorry, Joy.
We gonna be all right.